Welcome back to Too Many Secrets Productions. My name is Glenn, and this is where filmmaking, screenwriting, staying creative, and other movie things happen. This is the second part of the series where I'll be showing you the behind the scenes on how I make A Forgetful Man. See the first part, and it's about screenwriting. I show you how I got from the idea to the page, and today we're going to cover on how I get those words out of the page and onto the screen. I'm going to talk about some money, how much it takes to make it, to produce a short film. It really depends on production design, wardrobe, location, and just creating a budget around it. How you break down the technicalities in the script itself. So your shot list, what's practical as far as, scheduling on how many shoots you can have for a day. And casting and collaboration, I'm going to touch on, even though it's a little obvious because the whole idea is this is a one-man film, but that has changed, I think. So I'll go over that. The rest I'll touch on as we go along in this episode, pre-production. Now we're going to break down the script. And we're going to take a look at A Forgetful Man's first scene. It's going to be inside a motel and bathroom. And I'll be breaking it down in the aspects I'll be covering, which is the money. Whether it's going to go into production design, whether it's wardrobe, whether it's props, the location itself, how does that all fit in the budget? And what should a budget look like? What is your budget? Are you working towards that, or do you already have a set one? I'll touch on that. After the practical stuff, we'll go into the creative stuff. Why you choose that shot as opposed to the other. Casting and collaboration, I'll touch on, even though the whole idea is there's one guy, and it's going to be in front and behind the camera. Well, the behind the camera might change a little bit, since where I'm going to be shooting it gives me a little bit of advantage if I have more hands on set. So I have a better workflow and maybe produce a short film that exceeds my expectations. So while I'm going over those things, I'll be highlighting the words in the script. So I'll be reading the script and going over with you a few things as well. We're gonna go through scene one, the entirety of scene one, just talking about production design, talking about dressing the set, props, wardrobe, all those visual things, also the audible things, which is going to be Foley. Anything that might cost money, I'll touch on. And let's start with interior motel bathroom. Okay, I need to find a motel and pay for the one night, right? Since I'll be shooting this after or during Christmas time, literally either the 26th or the 27th of December, I need to find a motel that's going to cost the least. There's going to be a lot of motels, hotels that's going to be sold out because of people just traveling, right? How much of a budget do I have for that? Is it going to be 40? Is it going to be 50? Is it going to be 100? The whole idea is to reduce the cost. So I'll talk about budget after I break down the cost of this scene, right? So it's early, around 4 a.m., meaning that it's still dark. Now, you have to have lights. I need to have lights to create the mood. And whatever time it is, you need to have lights so that you can control your interior shots. And since it's early 4 a.m., we can use the lamps that's inside the room. That's not going to be enough. So you need to be prepared and have lights. If you don't have lights, you have to add that to the budget. Sound of shower echoing and bathroom door ajar, no money there. Steam crawling out. If you can't produce steam out of the shower, what are you going to do? You have to be creative. Dry ice is always an option. Maybe it's too much. That's more of like a horror film look, right? It's like a fog, not a steam. Maybe I can use a vape, kind of wait for it to evaporate and capture that and just blow it out of the door being ajar, right? We're going to skip over his dialogue. Now, Lance, late 30s, languid as if time doesn't apply to him. Alright, so if you're writing this for yourself, like I am, I already know what this guy looks like. He's in his late 30s. And languid to me means that he doesn't really have any sense of time. That's why as if time doesn't apply to him. He's not in a rush to be presentable. That's what it means to me when I read that sentence. So he's not putting a lot of effort to what he looks like. If I were to have this be read by like an entire crew cast and there's an art department involved, I need to be specific. I need to at least give him some pants or a shirt or a color of hair or the way he looks. Does he have a stubble? There needs to be some sort of description so that they can have a visual idea of what to provide. Otherwise, this guy is just butt naked walking around, right? Next is he plops a carrying case on top of the table. What's that carrying case? He unzips it and produces a typewriter. So basically, I'm going to take one of these typewriters behind me, right here. They have carrying cases. I unzip it, and there's your prop. 0 cost to me. But anytime you put in words and you think it doesn't matter, it does, especially if it's a material thing that is focused in the script, obviously. Like this piece of paper. How many pieces of paper is he going to insert in there? You know, you need to have continuity. The single cup coffee maker. Will the motel have that? Am I going to bring one? Should I bring one? And why does it have to be a single cup of coffee maker? Or a single cup coffee maker, right? One of those one-shot deals. It's, for me at least, if I have that prop, it's just for one person. It's limited to just one cup. It really highlights the theme that I'm trying to make this guy as alone as possible. Can't have a pot. He can't have multiple cups. He can just have one cup at a time. When you're thinking of props and you're thinking about design, kind of have a whole theme to match what you're trying to do. The rest of him is just actions and acting for the character, right? There's gonna be the sounds, which is people laughing and the bells, the Christmas tunes, the door shutting, and a record player skipping the Christmas tunes. Now, all those things considered, you can either do it as a Foley. You can go out there. It's Christmas time. I think I can get the laughter and the sound of a Christmas, like the sound of Christmas in my audio. I can capture that. The bells as well. I can like go to a tree. I'm sure there's a bell. I can just ring the bell and just capture that. So you have to be creative. You can also choose to not do a Foley, but get like files, MP3 files. If you can grab just audio in the computer or online, you can grab audio online. Just do it in post. It all ends up in post anyway. You can just cut it there. And that's about it for scene 1, right? So right now I have to budget for the location. I have to budget for dressing the motel, and I forgot to mention that. So if he has time to bring a carrying case and a typewriter, he's gonna stay there for a while. And if he's not in a rush waking up in the morning to check out, that means he's been living there for a while. So now the motel needs to have a space where it shows this man has been here for a period of time. Whether it's a long time, whether it's a short time, it needs to show that he's been living there. This is something that he is now accustomed to. This space is his now, even though it's a motel. So that's the part for the breakdown when it comes to the money. Now we're gonna talk about composing the shots, and I'll talk about the shot list that I have prepared. That'll give you an idea what the storyboard looks like. So jumping right in, interior motel, inside the bathroom, I want to shoot a wide shot or a medium shot of the door as Lance, our character, prays. The reason being is that you've seen this before when the President of the United States has a speech, or the main character in a movie or TV show has a monologue. And if he stays in place, you basically just push in as as the speech crescendos or something like that. It just focuses the attention slowly to your main character. Now, we don't have a main character that we're pushing into, but we are making the connection that someone is praying behind that door while we're trying to focus, because there's the sound of the water and and him praying. So just pushing in makes it a little bit easier to focus of what's happening. Land's late 30s, languid as if time doesn't apply to him. What I neglected to add on to there is that he walks to the table where he's going to put that carrying case for the typewriter. Now, if I shot this on a medium shot where I don't show his legs, I'd lose the whole languid part, right? I don't get the sense of him being slow or methodical, which I actually put down on the next line. The reason being is that when we're looking for movement, or if we're looking for energy, in my opinion, I think I look for energy on the way they speak and the way they move their limbs. So if you have a high energy guy, let's say Vince Vaughn, right? He speaks super fast and he can just spit out words, so you think his level of energy is really high. You juxtapose that to like an Owen Wilson, where I'm basically describing Wedding Crashers to you. That's why that dynamic works, because one it balances somebody out, right? But when it comes to Lance, this character, is that I'm showing his legs for the motion, because and to demonstrate that, in another show, the Homeland show, Panakin, I forgot his name in the show as well. But every time that character stands up and he walks around, it's very fast. His stride is so quick. You think he needs to go to the bathroom each time he needs to go somewhere, but nah, he's just super important and he needs to be there pronto. So those are character choices that the actor prepares for the character. And for me, since I am the one acting, and God help me, hopefully I can convey that with my legs. The shot of the typewriter, there's going to be a bunch of inserts, like the shot of the typewriter, his eyes closing. Those are going to be inserts, so it's going to be a bunch of close-ups to show those, to really focus your attention on that. When he's slowly inhaling the same amount of time exhaling, this line right here, his breathing exercises, how come it's not highlighting? His breathing exercises, it's super important to me to not focus on. So on this breathing exercises and him focusing, I want to start with an overhead shot. When you're trying to get out, at least for me, when you're trying to get out of your head, you want to just get it off of you, so it's direction up. So having the camera, I don't know if it's pretentious or not, but having the camera above his head makes it feel like, at least for me, that he's trying to get out of his body and to get into a space of his thoughts. Now, a lot of this shots where he hears things and he's trying to reimagine a situation, or he's trying to recollect a memory. There's going to be a variety of shots, but mostly close-ups, right? To get his reactions, because anytime there's a sudden sound that breaks the idea of bells and love and Christmas tunes, things like that, there should be a reaction. So I want to capture that. God, hopefully I can act. And then when it comes to then a loud scream, I want to pull out and show a wide shot as the scream happens, so that it emphasizes him being alone again. Also, what emphasizes him being alone, like I said, for props, is a single cup of coffee. And now the scream, a single scream, and now it's dead silence, and we're back by himself in the room. Very lonely guy. So when you're composing your shots, the thing that I really wanted to kind of express is that you need to have intention on what you're shooting. And yes, you can maybe find a way to find your shots in the set while you're in it. But especially if when you're working with a cinematographer, if you're working with a DP, you need to be able to explain why you're shooting it that way, because he's definitely going to have his own opinions, and there's going to be opinions that differ. So you have to intelligibly explain why it helps the story to have it look like a certain way. And having intention behind your shots makes it easier for people to understand. So that is what we're going to cover on the shots. Now let's talk about casting and collaboration. On casting, obviously I don't need to cast anyone else for A Forgetful Man. I wish I had the budget to, or had the time. Acting is not my forte, as I've mentioned, so this is my first venture into it. Hopefully I'll do a decent enough job to tell a good story. You know, writers always act in their heads and know what they want as far as a performance, but to actually be the one acting it, I don't know if it'll show. If you are hiring actors, what I've heard and doing the homework and casting some short films, one in particular, you really want to work with someone you have a vibe, and meaning that they're professional, they can deliver the performance, and they have the same energy, and you match the same sensibilities to a certain extent, right? You just find a balance that you know will deliver what you need on the screen. And that goes behind the lens as well. A lot of it is communication. A lot of people will ask you, if you're the director of a film or director of your project, a lot of people will ask you a lot of questions all the time. And you need to be able to kind of have a shorthand, not necessarily a shorthand, but you need to have a way of communicating your ideas and having opinions be heard without getting into arguments. You know, you need to find a DP that the story resonates with, things like that. So you always have to have a balance so that the final product that you have on screen shows the energy that you intended, right? Not that since I'm showing a suspenseful movie and it's about a killer, I don't want people killing each other while we're shooting it. That's not what I meant, but you know what I mean. As far as collaboration, by the way, since I'm shooting it by myself and it is a one-man short film, I might be breaking that rule when I am shooting it behind, or as far as behind the lens. If I can get extra hands to help me, I will get extra hands. I will accept anytime, because it is difficult with the size of production that I want to do. So I'll accept it and I'll break my own rules since I said it. But it just goes to show you that you can do many things poorly, or you can do one thing at a time very well. So that's the thing I had to consider, whether or not I'm sticking to the idea of the project or producing something that is good. Alright, so the next episode is not going to be the production or shooting. Since the shoot dates is actually around December 26, 27, 28, somewhere around there. During the times until that shoot, I will be just covering gear. I'll do some gear review of the things I have, and it's been recently purchased, so there's not going to be an unboxing. I'm just going to tell you how I'm using it and what I think, why I got it, and the things that I can do with it. So thank you so much for watching. I know that was a long one, but it really helps me express it this way. It's weird to internalize it, and it's a little bit better if I can say it as if you're working on a project too, because I'm learning as I'm telling you how my process goes. So thank you for that. And if you benefit from it, and if you're working on your own short film and you get something out of watching these videos, well, hey, that's also awesome. So if you do like what you're watching and you want to continue watching and seeing the process on how I make A Forgetful Man, please subscribe so you get to see the next episode by pressing that red button. So once it comes out, you get to see it first, or when it does come out on the same day. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions about pre-production or have any requests for the next episode, which is going to be about production and shooting. And until then, peace. Here we go. Let's do a boring one. Let's do a boring one. Can I do a boring? It's just gonna be boring. Staying creative and other movie things happen. The pauses are important for emphasis. A test. This is only a test.